Heavenly Father, thank you so much for the Sabbath day. Thank you for being with us and watching over and protecting us. And please speak through me today and my testimony. In your name we pray, amen. So this first slide, how narrow the gate and difficult the road really means something to me. One, because the roads that I've been using for the last 10 years have all looked like that and worse. And the narrow gate, I really feel like the Lord has protected me in many ways, and I've just really kind of gotten through that narrow gate in my personal life and the mission field. I have so many stories of lots of near-death experiences and problems. I've been kidnapped and held for ransom and shot at and robbed, and many problems. Been in 25 car accidents. I was not the driver for most of those, so don't be afraid to write me. But yeah, that really speaks to me. So just some quick background. I'm going to try and just skim over the my troubled years where I was away from the church for a bit. So just quickly skim over that. Born in Southern California in 1981, started at SDA school at age 5, went to Adventist preschool, Adventist kindergarten, and then the whole Adventist school system. Had my own lawn mowing business at 12, so that taught me how to really work hard at a young age, and it's helped me in the mission field. Then I got my first job in a restaurant when I was age 14. That kind of got me a little bit away from the church. It was kind of the bar scene at a young age, and got several other jobs. One was welding on dumpsters with kind of a rough group, and working in a car painting place. So that kind of got me going a little bit down a dangerous path there. Moved across the country, went to school at La Sierra at age 18, graduated there with an international business degree. Continued to work in the restaurant industry, kind of entertaining myself. I didn't really know what to do, where to go. Tried to find jobs, couldn't find jobs. I had a nice job at a restaurant, so kind of easy to stay with that. And then I went on my first mission trip in 2007 with Pastor Rusty. So my whole mission experience started in this church. Started with Pastor Rusty and my first mission trip. So that's amazing to come all the way back after it's been 11 years now. So my first mission trip was with Jared Thurman and Share Him, and we went to southern India. So a little map there to give you an idea. India is huge and a very diverse place. We're at the southern tip there, and it was with Share Him. Share Him is a great organization. They give you a lot of information to help you get through it, give you the sermon, give you the children's story. So very good for the first group. And all that was arranged by Pastor Rusty. And he may remember some of these things. I went on my first mission trip just trying to have fun. You know, my mom kind of tricked me a little bit. I went to be part of the set up the camera, play with the animals group, you know, and I ended up having my partner go to another group, and I took over the whole thing. But first it was all about the animals, snakes, elephants, all kinds of food, and the bottom right picture, that was a great food there, all with my hands and everything. The left picture was in their temple. They had a golden calf, like a real golden calf in the temple. They had a bunch of animals, and just an amazing thing in the temple there. So my friend left me, and I went from the camera guy to the everything guy. I gave the sermon for the first time with a translator, a children's story, met with sick people in the community. They think that I'm some type of healer that's going to help them. I go to all the houses and fix houses, give food. I even had a little medical clinic where I diagnosed their head pain and gave them ibuprofen, and diagnosed their stomach problem and gave them something for the worms or whatever. So I had to just kind of get thrown in there. Got to see the benefits of charcoal. I guess my slide is not showing good there, but it says benefits of charcoal. And that person got bit by something crazy on the left side there. And we put charcoal on it, and it fixed it, improved a lot. So very cool. That trip changed my life. It says there that 26 people were baptized, so it helped people there, but really helped me a lot. A lot of people think mission trip is only going to help the people that you go to visit, but man, it helps you a lot, and this really changed my life. When I left, I just started crying. Little kids are crying. It just really just flipped something in my brain. So at that time, I felt like I was really wasting valuable time. And this is a Ellen White quote. Ellen White's one of my favorite authors, Adventist author. Says, "The greatest curse of our world today is idleness that leads to amusements merely to please and gratify self." So that's pretty much what I was doing. I was kind of lazy, and I was just amusing entertainment stuff. Lots of sports, lots of concerts, lots of drugs, alcohol, anything that I could do for entertainment. So I wanted to get back into the mission field. So this is, it says going to missionary and survival training school. So I joined a group called the Pilgrim Relief Society and went to a training school in Romania. So I was 6 months in Romania in 2008, up in the top northern part of Romania. And this was a school that was run by It Is Written and the Pilgrim Relief Society together. So at the time, I didn't know who Sean Woodster was. I didn't realize that he was a famous Adventist. I went to the GYC conference, a big youth conference, and I found a magazine that had his picture on it. And I went around like an idiot trying to find this guy in the picture. And I eventually found him, and we had time to talk, and he got me into this school. I was the only American to be in this school, and we studied Bible, first aid, navigation, shelter building, survival techniques, a bunch of stuff. People came and taught a variety of courses. You can see it in the picture there that it's kind of a farm in the mountains. So I start to study, start to learn stuff, so I learned the importance of practical skills. This is another Ellen White quote from the book Education, a very good book about education. "The minister, the missionary, the teacher will find their influence with the people greatly increased when it is manifest that they possess the knowledge and skill required for practical duties of everyday life." Everything like changing oil, cooking, everything. And then often success, perhaps the very life of the missionary, depends on the knowledge of practical things and ability to prepare food, deal with accidents, emergencies, treat disease, and even build a house, build a whole house, build a church. And often these things will make the difference between success and failure of his life's work. So this is something that very, very much spoke to me, and I feel like I went to school for so long, and now I don't know how to build a church, I don't know how to build a house, I don't know how to handle emergencies, treat disease, I don't know about any of that stuff. So then in school, I'm studying. We did cool stuff in the survival aspect, camping. My friend and I built an igloo in this little side here in the left corner, and got super frozen in this little igloo. We evidently did not do that good of a job in the igloo, and I couldn't feel my toes for a long time after that. We stayed in a cave and learned how to not build a fire in the cave, because the smoke will go the wrong direction, and then you have to sleep on the floor trying to breathe. So do not build a fire in a cave. We learned how to build a little raft, and you can see that didn't go so well. I'm the one there trying to swim in the corner. We found everything on the side of the river, and bottles and sticks and everything, and my friend and I made these little rafts. We went some miles down the river before we had product failure. We worked on a farm and milked cows, spread manure, worked on the road. The school was all powered by firewood, so we're chopping wood, and we got to kind of practice missionary aid work type stuff by helping a gypsy village that was close by. So we helped them to build a house, we gave them clothes, food, helped Bible studies, helped with medical stuff. Again, I'm trying to play doctor by helping people there. And we went to church and practiced our testimonies, so we could learn how to speak with a translator, and amazing experience there in Romania. And then it was time for graduation. The text there should say the graduation and deployment. So those are all the people that I went to that school with, and out of all those people, some were sent out in the mission field. Myself and a friend got sent to the Amazon jungle in Peru, where we stayed for 6 months. We flew into to Lima, then up to another, then drove for a long time, then took a boat for a long time to get to the village. This is the progression of that, the airport to the crazy roads to me in the back of the truck. I'm like this in the very back of the truck there. And that led us to this town in Peru, Yurimaguas, where we then loaded up our supplies. We stayed with an Adventist family and got all our food and stuff and loaded up into this little tricycle, and then took all that to this boat. So that's our boat there, the first one without the roof, full of stuff. And we spent 3 days on that boat all day, like load up before sunrise and unload after dark. The boat was a great ministry time because you're on it for some days and you're picking up people as you go. One day somebody got loaded into the boat, they wave us to the side, load somebody in the boat, and I, after the fact, realized that they were possessed. So very crazy to see somebody who's possessed. They were foaming at the mouth type of thing, wild eyes, shaking, making a crazy noise. And I've seen people overdose on drugs. I've seen people very sick. I've seen people dying. I've seen all kinds of crazy stuff. This person was definitely not going through that kind of thing. They weren't sick. They weren't on drugs. This was a very serious possession moment where we all are on the boat for hours just really not knowing what to do. Very crazy. We had to push the boat a lot. Got stuck quite a bit. So this is the Amazon where you hear lots of stories about snakes and crazy stuff. There was big piranhas in the water and all kinds of things there. And we had to push it a lot. People from the jungle there came out to help us, and we got to put our stuff in another boat, and we went through big storms. The yellow tarp is covering people. That is the locals there that are very cold and getting rained on, and they're hiding under the tarp. And then we had to take the roof off to go under a tree. So very, very difficult transportation issues. Spent a lot of time on the river. That's actually my food bowl, and that is the boat there. We are sinking constantly, and it's my job to bail the water out with my food bowl. The locals are dealing with the transportation issues there too. It's kind of maybe it's hard to see, but there's a pig in that little cage, and the people will make the little boat and put this one's a farmer down here, and then farmer up there with the pig, and they would go down the river for 7 days, just float down the river, and then sell all their stuff, sell the wood, sell the pig, sell the whatever, they trap animals, all kinds of stuff, and then sell it, and then they get their money back, and then walk all the way back to the village. So days of walking, days of floating. This is how we lived for 6 months there in the jungle, in little hammocks with nets and little, just like the locals. That is my beautiful back, and I got bit by bugs a bunch. That's through my shirt. They would bite through my shirt, through my clothes, and give lots of trouble. After the 3 days on the canoe, like little boat, we'd walk 1 day by foot, 12 hours just one direction. I got lost in those conditions, blacked out in the trail, bloody marks and all kinds of problems through the trail there. Those are the piranhas down in the bottom corner. It's like everything there can hurt you. Just an amazing location. The weird bug thing is like a flying scorpion that can kill you. The frog is a poisonous frog. The trees are dangerous. It's just an amazing place. The most difficult part of this trip was the environment. That is a snake that tried to kill me, and the villagers tried to kill it, and the villagers won. So I was very, very tired. I sat down on some tree. The snake was under the tree. I didn't realize the snake was there. The people pulled me off and stoned the snake to death. Evidently, it would have killed me in 30 minutes. And we are all the way out in the middle of nowhere, so no 911 is coming. There I am trying to filter some water. Maybe it's hard to see the quality of water there, but it's a little yellow still. So I'm drinking that for months. It's like a strange type of difficulty to drink water that tastes so bad. But we didn't really get that sick, and we made it through. I still have my earrings in that picture there, and each trip and everything, I get better on my own character development, my walk with Christ, and it was a journey for me. The locals eat all kinds of interesting things. The monkey is not a pet. Turtle's not a pet. The fish are not going in a fish tank. All that stuff is treats for the locals. That should say that they have a garden to tend. It's a very beautiful place. Everybody has their own garden, and so they're growing fruits and vegetables too, but then also eating crazy stuff. A big rat in the corner, and some big fly in the other corner. They get all the flies together and cook them up, eat some a big bowl of delicious flies. Lots of fruits and vegetables too, but all kinds of crazy food. This is something that we studied, and kind of the progression of learning everything. And it says he ministered to their needs first. So that's what we're trying to do on this trip. It's help everybody minister their needs. Christ ministered to people's needs before inviting them to follow him. Christ's method alone will give the true success in reaching the people. The Savior mingled with men and one who deserved their and with men as one who desired their good. He showed his sympathy for them, ministered to their needs, and won their confidence. Then he bade them follow me. My first mission trip, we baptized very quickly, and later I learned that I would have a more solid outcome if I could really get to know everybody and have a lasting relationship and follow this model. So in the Amazon there, we did our best to help. We built a church. We helped paint a school with that beautiful paint. It's like milk that we're painting over and over again. The bottom corner picture, that person had lost both their arms and one leg, and we gave all of our gas money and all of our fuel from our boat and all of our food to get this person all the way back through the long journey back to the hospital, and we saved his life. He lost his other foot, so a very difficult life for him, but we saved his life, and then we had to float home because we gave our gas and our food and our money, so it was very difficult for both of us. I went back to the city and took pictures. I took pictures in the village, went back to the city, 1 day by foot, 3 days by a little boat, and I printed these pictures, and then 3 days by a little boat, 1 day by foot to give them their pictures back, and they've never seen their picture before, so very cool for them to see their picture. They have a little bit of broken glass mirror or something, but never seen a picture, so very nice for them to have their picture. Kids were amazing, everybody, just an amazing thing. Again, same kind of thing as my first trip to India, life-changing trip, and really got me away from my troublemaking time. I pushed these kids in a rope swing that I made, and they loved that. So we gave Bible studies, we gave health talks, we gave anything that we could think of to help them. In the bottom pictures there, we're projecting onto a sheet on some trees there and playing a video. And there's a lot more people in that picture than what you see there. I took the picture and the flash just illuminated the few people there, but there's probably 3 times that many. They walked from a long distance from different villages to come. Then we went back to the city, got a pastor, brought the pastor all the way out to the middle of nowhere, and had some baptisms. Very good stories of change in people's lives. Gave out as many song books and hymnals as we could. And then there's the one group there, and then the other group. The older lady to the right side there, no one knows how old she is. She doesn't know how old she is, and nobody else knows how old she is. So that's the first time that I'd ever come across that before. We are so much celebrating our birthdays and knowledge of when we were born and everything, and it's important to us. But this lady's got a great story, and she doesn't even know when she was born. So after Peru, I came back wanting to do more and have more kind of control over stuff. So I want to kind of start my own thing or join something that's just beginning. So I joined the Beehive. That was founded by Rico Hill. It's on the left there, Jared Thurman and Scott Thurman. And I actually went on the first trip with Rusty, with Jared, and I came back and I went to improve my situation, and Jared went and improved his situation. He started a nonprofit, and we joined back up again. So very cool to have that go full circle and come back. So then Scott and I joined together, and this is how the Beehive got their name. It's kind of a long quote there. If anybody wants to read that, I'll just do the highlights. Basically, the Beehive is a place that is finding homes for the orphans, nursing the sick, helping the unemployed, teaching health, teaching education, regular education, and having health food training, just the whole deal. So that's what we studied, and then we're really trying to implement that today where we're at now, and just continue to educate ourselves on that. Along with that Beehive model is the true education model. So true education, our ideas of education take too narrow and too low a range. There's a need of a broader scope, a higher aim. True education means more than the pursuit of a certain course of study. It means more than a preparation for the life that is now. It has to do with the whole being, the whole period of existence possible to man. It is the harmonious development of physical, mental, and spiritual powers, and that prepares you for the world to come, not just the time here on earth. Amen. So that's something that really touched me, and it related to how my education was, and now my kind of new education. So Scott and I joined up, started the Beehive International side of the Beehive, and went back to India. This time to the northern side. Before was the southern tip. Now where the red dot is, way up there at the border of Bhutan and Bangladesh, and just kind of in the middle of nowhere again. We went to a school, an Adventist school that's already in existence there. They had 300 acres of land, a very cool school, and they had started off, like a lot of our schools did, with a press and wood shop and welding and kind of a missionary training camp. Their press was very interesting. It's the old, I'm not sure how old this system is, but it's the typeset print where they have to put the little letters in and press the thing. So there's their printer. Probably the kids have never seen a printer like that. But they put all the little metal letters in there, and then they put ink on that big circle, and they gotta like crank it down and press the words into the paper. So you can imagine how slow that is. So we helped them out, and we sold that thing for scrap metal, and we got them a proper printer. And again, learning more about stuff as we go. It says the cultivation of our land requires the exercise of the brain power and all the tact that we possess. So our goal at this place was trying to help them to get back to agriculture and kind of fix a lot of their agricultural problems. This was their seed storage, just made of woven grass. So the rats are getting in there and making lots of problems. So we fixed that and made it a nice concrete building and painted it and helped them with their agriculture stuff. This is their farm and barn, and lots of problems with the roof and just so much trouble. We then renovated that whole thing, fixed the roof, and the front part is a vermiculture composting pit that we designed and got worms and made a real nice composting system for them. That's how it used to look. And then after we were done there, we improved it a lot. We got their whole system up and running again. That's their welding department and their wood shop. So inside the welding and wood shop was all this stuff. It's all trash. The trash had value, but they held on to it. Probably like a lot of people that in the States here have lots of stuff that they could get rid of, recycle, donate, sell, whatever. So that's what we did there. We cleaned it all out. We recycled it, sold it, and we got the equivalent of the highest paid person at the school salary. So the principal was the highest paid person. We recycled all the garbage, and we got the equivalent of 1 year's salary for that person. So big improvement there. We tried to help with sanitation and fixing all kinds of stuff. Fixed windows, and I just renovated all these things. This is their tractor, missing the wheel and missing the lights and doesn't run. So we used the money that we got from recycling stuff and invested it in their infrastructure for agriculture and get their wood shop going and all that kind of stuff. There's another storage building that had a serious rat problem with lots of holes and stuff. So we fixed the building, fixed the roof, and again, this is all good training for me and helping to advance my character and fix things of myself. So this is somebody's bathroom that we built, a new bathroom for them. Very, very nice project for them and fun for us. So this is their part of their farm area, and that's how it looks now after we hooked it up. So got them all back into agriculture, and then with the money that we got from the recycling, we helped them get back into the vocational training thing and built all these desks. So those are desks for vocational training where 2 students can be at each desk and they can work on a little engine or take apart something, whatever. So then again, just learning more and more. There should be open to the youth means whereby many, while attending school, learn the trade of carpentry. So under the guidance of experienced workmen, carpenters, who are apt to teach, patient and kind, the youth should be taught how to build sustainably, economically. Cottages and other buildings essential to the various lines of schoolwork are to be erected by the students themselves. That's something that we're doing now, is everybody that comes to visit gets to help build things and learn. These buildings should not be crowded together. They shouldn't be built near the school buildings proper, the management of the schoolwork, and they should start small companies. So this is all stuff that we learned through the process, and now that we're in Haiti, we're trying to follow all these things that we've learned and build a property that can do all these things that we've learned along the way. So in 2011, a little bit after the big earthquake there, I went with the Beehive International and Scott Thurman to Haiti. And I personally couldn't find Haiti on the map before I went. So the map helps me there. It's surprisingly close to the United States. It's almost swimmable distance. This is their White House. It's the palace. And sorry, the picture is not so good. These are kind of older pictures, but that is like their White House. And a lot of people died in that area. When I went, it was controlled by the UN and soldiers, and just a very difficult situation. The UN soldier there is standing in front of the administrative building at the Adventist school, and he's standing next to that tank. The next picture, the police there racing around with lots of problems, trying to solve problems as fast as they can. And then those are my pictures of just the common scene of earthquake damage. The earthquake was devastating. 250,000 people died, 300,000 kids were orphaned. Amazing situation and problems with the earthquake. I had a friend that told her story about the time of the earthquake. She got pinned. She didn't know what was happening. It just everything shakes and collapses. She got pinned in her house for 3 days with her family, and she listened to her kids die while she was pinned in the house. And then people dug her out, barehanded dug her out, and saved her life. But she's probably changed forever. So I found the Adventist hospital there, and I actually lived in that hospital for 3 years. So I'm seeing people come in and then go out again in a tarp. People dying every day. You can hear them dying. Very, very difficult living conditions. Started in a hallway, got a patient room, eventually got to live on the campus there, but very difficult start. I went into the hospital not really knowing what to expect, and I go inside, and my friend from high school is the administrator of the hospital. I hadn't seen him for 15 years. And just all of a sudden, he's there in the hospital in control of everything. So that's how I got to stay there. I went from no money, wasting money at the hotel, and then I got to stay at the hospital. So this is the common scene during that time. These are tents made out of tarps, and they had thousands of people living on the hospital campus, in front of the church, at the university. So you go to church and you see the tent city, and they're trying to bathe and feed themselves. It's very difficult. This is at the university campus. Maybe it's hard to see, but I'm driving the forklift there, and I promise I'm a safe driver despite all the accidents. And we're trying to clean up after that. So there's Scott Thurman. We're trying to look for land. The whole purpose of this work is for us to find land and develop the Beehive, a model of true education and training facility. So we're searching for land everywhere. While we're trying to find land, we're helping however we can. So we fixed this building up for the university, and it's a nice project there. This is Scott's last project. Scott Thurman was the founder of the Beehive and the father of Jared Thurman, which I went to the 2 mission trips with. And Scott actually passed away. It was a car accident in the United States, and a devastating thing for me personally and for the mission work and everything. Very, very surprising. Traveled the world together, spent a lot of time together, had our whole lives planned together, and very, very sad. This is in Israel at the Dead Sea, where we had a little mud bath. But there's the building dedicated by Loma Linda to Scott's memory. Just a very, very devastating thing. So after that, I spent some months in the hospital, very sad, just in the hospital room on my own for months without going outside, not eating very good, get very sick, very, very sad situation. Then I visited an orphanage, and the kids there really, really reminded me of my mission and fall in love with the kids. This is the text that was read today, that the pure religion, the sight of God, is caring for the fatherless and the orphans. So we really worked hard at the orphanages around Port-au-Prince after the earthquake, with so many kids being orphaned. There is just so many orphanages. Orphanages are forming in people's houses, and they're needing a lot of help. Cooking in this picture with charcoal and getting the walls all black and making people all sick. And so we switched them to a propane stove. We helped them plant gardens. The wall there is just like temporary tin, and we built a concrete wall to take the place of the tin. Got a bunch of beds, and we did about $250,000 worth of work for 12 different orphanages, a little over 500 kids in the time that we were there. This is their water source for that location. That's a city pipe, and someone has punctured a hole in the city pipe so that the water sprays out all the time, and then they walk some distance there and get that water. The water is not so clean, so we taught about health and cleanliness, and taught them how to use a water filter in that picture there. So much work to be done at these orphanages. So that's the before picture, and that's the after picture. It's a shower and water system. Probably well, here we made peanut butter, so we get all the peanuts and mix it all up and make our own peanut butter. Extra spicy was our flavor, and then we give it to the kids and try and sell it. Gave so much food. There's my mom, and mom can also be credited for getting me started in mission work, and she has come to join us. So this orphanage is probably the best place that we helped. The middle section is where 18 kids were sleeping on the floor, no water, no food, no electricity, difficult condition up on the mountainside. And we made a garden and steps and built a second story and renovated everything. Started small businesses for them, sent them to school. They all have their own beds now, and got running water going, and just an amazing thing with the kids there. That's Naftali, a little girl from the orphanage. All through this time, it was very difficult transportation. There's our truck with lots of crazy transportation stuff. My record is 26 people in that truck. There you can see 2 couches stacked up. It was a two-seater truck with 26 people. So we formed our own little city mission spot, and worked on setting that up. That's a view of the city mission. We got our garden, got some animals there, some vegetation growing, got a wood shop, and that's where I live now for the last several years. I've been in Haiti now for 7 years. We started to get shipping pallets and recycle those shipping pallets into cool stuff. So on the side is the shipping pallet that was donated, just some garbage wood. We transformed that into the table, and we sold the table for $1,200. Wow. So once we sold the table for $1,200, we're like, oh, this is a good idea. So we started doing that a lot. It's a great training. Probably there's no time to read all the stuff, but that's a 13-year-old kid using a hair tool there, learning to build. That's my record for shipping pallets in a 2-seater truck. That is 60 shipping pallets, way more than that truck should carry. This is a bunch of stuff that we have made. We're up to 1,000 different products made all out of shipping pallets, all by people that have no skills and no training and no education. A lot of young people with no jobs. They're earning money then to support their family. The 30 people that are working in the shop every day, we estimate, are supporting around 200 people with the money they make in the shop. So they're learning the skill, and they're supporting their family, so it's a very good ministry. And we're also earning funds to help support ourselves. That was after some practice, but that's all shipping pallet, and sells for $600. That was sold for $1,200. We make the cushions, we paint it all out of shipping pallets. So the young people are learning how to do this. That's in a nice restaurant. We made an accent wall out of shipping pallets. There's the kid again, the young man, 13 years old, and I did that whole wall in one day at a nice place. Conan O'Brien, maybe some people saw this. Conan O'Brien just went to Haiti after Trump's statements of Haiti not being a very good place. So Conan O'Brien, a comedian, went, and he went to this school. So if you watch his episode of going to Haiti, he actually went to this pro-dev school where we made this library. So we're getting to know lots of people and getting our name out. There's at the City Mission one of our sections of carpentry. Everybody building stuff. We made all those tables for another ministry, so we're helping another ministry. Missionaries all around need beds and furniture and stuff, so we're making lots of stuff. All these kids practicing their trade. So now comes to the primary focus of it has become the primary focus of my life, to have this land and develop it, and to follow these directions. Our school should be located where the students can receive an education broader than which the mere study of books. Such training should be fitting them acceptable for service and called to pioneer work in mission fields, either in the United States or in foreign countries. There must be enough land to cultivate the soil and become self-supporting. So that's what we're trying to do. We're out in the country now, north, a couple hours from the airport, where we have a 40-acre piece of land. This is what it looked like when we first visited. Just a grassy field. We had to bulldoze a mile-long path to get to the land. And this text is something that I feel like it speaks to me. And even when he reached the land, God promised him that he lived there, it says, in faith, in tents. So we settled this land with nothing there, and then that's kind of my tent. We made a house out of shipping pallets, and I lived there with several locals, and we had a clinic, it's like the hotel, the restaurant, my house, everything all in one, all made out of shipping pallets. We planted fruit trees, got animals, had to deal with difficult transportation stuff and trying to get through these mud pits. I'd take people in the back of the truck all the way up to the country mission and give them the tour. And we're cooking like this for the people that come to visit and for all the workers. That's the kitchen, just some rocks and some sticks there in the middle of the field. And we've come a long way since then. We had to fence all the property to protect it, plant flowers. So much work has gone into it. And there is our first toilet. We started off by just going out in the bushes and using the bushes, and then we dug a septic hole. We're trying to train everybody as we go with the pallet stuff, built our first shower and toilet facility with all shipping pallets. Then I met Norma Nasheed, a very nice Jordanian lady that runs another ministry that joined us and has helped us a lot. So she helped us to build several buildings and a lot of stuff on the property. This is like our barn. We're still working on that, but it's pretty much done now. This is our guest house where everybody can come and stay. It sleeps 32 people, and everybody can come and stay there and join us. This is the kitchen, so come a long ways from the little field with rocks. Now we've got a nice kitchen there where we can provide food for everybody. This is a group that came to visit, and the kitchen is set up to service the people that come to visit and to teach culinary arts there. So that's all made with shipping pallet wood from our shop, and that's a real cool spot. We do lots of medical clinics there at the property. Here is famous missionaries here, Kelly, Barbara, and my mom doing BBS. And there is a church in the barn, having church with the locals. We're teaching whatever we can teach, working on welding, the carpentry, agriculture. We've become a missionary destination for groups. This is a group from Southern. We have Southern, Andrews, Loma Linda, church groups, lots of people that are coming to volunteer. We've had about 1,000 people so far come to visit. And the truck things are getting a lot better. We've got a little dump truck, a pickup truck that are much better than the previous things. So we got a bunch of animals now. We got 6 horses, 3 donkeys, 40 chickens, 3 sheep, 13 turkeys, some guinea hens, dogs, cats, and a bunch of bees. The bees are, we're finally giving the beehive the real beehive to the name beehive. So we're raising bees now, and everybody can come and learn about bees. It's a very cool thing. There's our security sheep. If you walk too close to the sheep, he'll ram you. So be careful with the sheep. We got a lot of fruit trees. It's about 21 different varieties, several hundred fruit trees. And due to the time in there, I won't read all that, but lots of fruit trees. And then trying to grow whatever we can grow. We've got some plots where we're growing whatever we can grow. This is a group from Walla Walla University that has come, and we're partnering with them this year to build our first classroom. So this is the blueprint that we have for that classroom. And another quote that speaks to the manual training that needs to happen. And this is what we're following for our property there. It's the best possible facilities that we can create, and as many as possible of the most useful trades: household economy, health, cooking, sewing, hygienic dressmaking, treatment of the sick, gardens, workshops, everything that we can come up with. So there's kind of what we're trying to do, all in one picture there. There's a lot of words there that are kind of difficult to do, but there is our master plan for the property. We're currently working on the 7th building. That is a 40-acre piece of land, and there's a drone footage, a drone shot of the property where everybody can come and visit us and help us. And I'm happy to answer any questions or anything after. And I know it's a lot of information to try and share in a short time. And anybody that'd like to receive an email or join up for our email newsletter, I'd love to keep you informed on all the stuff that we're doing. Thank you very much.